Everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of the absolutely most visually stunning locations in all of Taiwan. Just close your eyes for a second and try to picture this. Glowing red lanterns strung over these incredibly narrow stone-paved alleys. You've got steep stairways climbing straight up a mountainside, and the air's just thick with the aroma of sweet and savory street food right at golden hour. We are, of course, talking about Jiufen Old Street. It's a former gold mining town in Rufang district, and it has literally captured the world's imagination. But, as beautiful as it is, visiting it can actually be kind of overwhelming.
So is Jiufen a maze or a masterpiece? That question right there really gets to the heart of the whole traveler's dilemma. Because when you first arrive, this place can absolutely feel like a totally chaotic maze. I mean, it's this massive tangle of stair-lined market lanes, packed shoulder to shoulder with crowds, snack stalls, and souvenir shops. It is so easy to get turned around, bumped into, or worst of all, fall into the trap of totally overpaying for snacks right at the main entrance. But underneath all that surface-level chaos, the town's layout is actually an absolute masterpiece of historical utility. So today, we're going to decode that maze so you can navigate it like an absolute pro.
Think of this explainer as your virtual walking tour itinerary. We're going to organize the chaos step by step. First, we'll cover the rapid history from gold to cinema. Then, we'll master the layout, figure out exactly what to eat and see, walk through the perfect loop, and finally, crack the code on timing your visit. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Gold to Cinema. Jiufen's Rapid History.
Before we can really walk the streets, we need a quick grounding on why this town is perched on the side of a mountain in the first place. The original streets were actually built during a massive gold rush under the Japanese colonial era. It was literally one of Asia's richest mining towns. But naturally, the mines eventually closed down, and the town pretty much faded into total obscurity. That is, until 1989. Director Ho Xiaoshen released the film A City of Sadness, which instantly shot these very lanes into the spotlight across the entire Chinese-speaking world. The idea spread like wildfire, and visitors came flooding back. And this brilliantly illustrates how we got to today. It's a world-famous tourist destination, drawing in thousands of people eager to see those cinematic red lanterns layered right over a working, breathing town.
Moving right along to Section 2, Master the Layout. Demystifying the maze. If you take away just one single thing from this explainer, let it be this. The crucial point is that we can simplify this seemingly impossible mountain town into one basic shape. Jiufen Old Street is essentially just two intersecting lines that form a cross. That's it. First, you have Jishan Street. This runs roughly level and horizontally across the hillside. It's super narrow, completely covered by awnings. Actually, it's covered so much that locals just call it the Dark Street. And this is your main artery for eating, browsing, and buying gifts. Then, cutting right through it vertically, you have Shuqi Road. This is the exact opposite. It's an open, steep flight of stone stairs climbing the slope, completely lined with classic tea houses, glowing red lanterns, and these sweeping, gorgeous views out to the East China Sea. Just remember the cross, right? Jishan for flat snacking, Shuqi for vertical stairs and tea. Suddenly, the whole maze is completely demystified.
Which brings us to Section 3. What to eat and see. Landmarks and snacks.
Let's really engage those senses now and talk about what you're actually going to do once you step foot onto that horizontal lane, Jishan Street. Well, food absolutely comes first here. Imagine the steam rising off these incredible local specialties as you walk by. Jiufen's absolute signature dessert is Taro balls. Depending on the weather, you can get them served piping hot in the winter or incredibly refreshing over shaved ice in the summer. For savory cravings, you just have to try the fishball soup, the wildly popular peanut ice cream rolls, or the herbal pork. And remember, the food on Jishan Street is cheap, filling, and purposefully designed to be eaten as you walk. Then, on the souvenir side of things, you'll be smelling pineapple cakes, loose-leaf tea, dried mushrooms, and nougat. Basically the whole shebang. All perfect to take back home. Beyond eating, let's keep a brisk walking tour pace here. There are a few landmarks you absolutely must see. Shengping Theater is one of Taiwan's oldest cinemas. It's actually totally free to enter, features beautifully restored vintage seats, and, pro tip, provides a blissfully quiet break from the crowds outside. Of course, you'll also see the picture postcard Shuji Road Stairway and the century-old A-Mei Teahouse with its really famous lantern-covered facade. Oh, and if you're traveling with teens, there's actually a small haunted house museum tucked right off the lanes called Ghost Lord Jiufan for around 150 new Taiwan dollars. And as you're walking, keep an eye out for small shrines like Mingsheng Temple. They are these beautiful little reminders that this place isn't just a tourist stage set, it's a real, functioning neighborhood. Now, before we move on, I have to share this absolutely crucial insider tip from heritage writer Joanne Lau. She says, and I quote,
Walk all the way to the quiet end of Jishan Street before you start buying. Seriously, the first 100 meters near the bus stop are incredibly crowded and heavily marked up. You gotta just be patient. 10 minutes deeper in, the exact same taro balls and nougat costs less, and the crowds thin out enough that you can actually see the shop you're standing in. A real game changer.
Let's move to section 4 and see how this builds the perfect loop without backtracking.
So, armed with our layout knowledge and our snack strategy, we need an actionable walking plan. Here is your foolproof 3-step loop. Step 1. Start at the top entrance to Jishan Street, right near the main bus stop, and the 7-Eleven where the coaches drop you off. Step 2. Take your time walking that level, covered lane. Eat your taro balls, browse the shops, and walk deep enough to score those lower prices we just talked about. Step 3. When Jishan Street intersects with our vertical path, Shuqi Road, make your turn and drop down the stone steps. This way, you see both streets perfectly, zero backtracking, and you finish your walk right at the highly photogenic tea houses, ready for a well-deserved rest.
Finally, we have Section 5, timing your visit. Beat the heavy crowds.
Having the perfect route is great, but managing the logistics of time is the ultimate key here. The magic numbers to keep in your head are 90 to 180. That's how many minutes you should budget for the old street. If your goal is just to quickly walk the lanes, grab a few savory snacks, and snap some photos, 90 minutes is plenty of time. But if you want to truly soak in the atmosphere and sit down for a proper traditional tea set at one of the tea houses on Shuqi Road, you will absolutely want to give yourself closer to 180 minutes, so 3 full hours. Now, what's really interesting about the daily foot traffic is the dramatic story it tells. There is a massive, and I mean massive, swell in the middle of the day. Between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., the tour coaches arrive en masse, and the narrow lanes can slow to an absolute shuffle, especially if you're there on a weekend or holiday. So, to have the best experience, you want to aim for the outer edges of the day. Either arrive in the early morning before the buses even get there, or stay into the evening as the day trippers leave and the stalls begin to close down for the night.
To perfectly summarize why timing matters so much, let's look at one final piece of advice from Joanne Lyle. She recommends, time your visit so you are walking down Shuqi Road just as the light goes blue. Mid-afternoon, the crowds start to ease up, and after the last buses leave, the street becomes deeply, beautifully peaceful. The red lanterns switch on against the dusk sky, completely illuminating the tea houses. That is the exact perfect moment you want to be walking down those stone stairs.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Next time you walk under those iconic lanterns, eating your hot taro balls and taking in the sea views, just look up. Right above the souvenir shops, locals are out buying their groceries. Shrines are actively being worshipped at. So what does this all mean? How does a place that has been a gold rush boomtown, a cinematic icon, and a massive tourist attraction manage to keep its soul as a living, breathing neighborhood? It's this fascinating, delicate balance between the past, the visitors, and the locals. And honestly, it's something you simply have to go to Taiwan and feel for yourself. Thank you so much for joining me to decode Jiufen Old Street. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.